Lo primero que nos soltó Declan Donellan cuando le conocimos este otoño en el Festival de Dublín fue «¿Sabéis que soy irlandés?». A pesar de eso, nació en Manchester, de padres irlandeses, eso sí. En 1981 a él y a su compañero, el escenógrafo Nick Omerod, se les ocurrió en la cocina de casa fundar su propia compañía para hacer el teatro que les apetecía y como les apetecía, y la llamaron Chick by Joel. Aparte de sus trabajos en Inglaterra, a Donellan le gusta trabajar en Rusia con actores rusos. Dirigió incluso un ballet invitado por el Bolshoi. Sus últimas visitas a España han sido con Noche de Reyes, Troilo y Crésida y Macbeth, todas obras de Shakespeare, porque a Donellan le chiflan los textos del bardo inglés.
Okay, so let's try the questionnaire.
Yes, the questionnaire.
Questionnaire. To make theatre, you only need...
Well, I think like everything else, you need to make priorities and sort out what your priority is. And my priority is to try and see the difference between what is alive and what is dead, and to do as much as I can make there be more life on stage and less death. It's not important to me that I like my work. It's not done to my taste. I have to obey the life that I see.
And what is superfluous in theatre?
I've no idea. I wouldn't like to judge. I think there are many, many different forms of theatre. I love frivolous theatre. I love frivolous and shallow theatre as long as it is honest and says I'm frivolous and shallow. I don't like to see big, heavy plays performed in a way that is frivolous and shallow. I love to see cabaret. I love to see light forms of theatre. I really love musicals when they're done honestly. And well, and they often are. But I think theatre does need that sort of integrity. And it is very easy to disexperience. That's a strange word that I've invented. It's very easy to take a big classic play and get rid of the uncomfortable bits and make it less dangerous for an audience that does not want to be disturbed. These plays are very tough.
What is your starting point in rehearsals?
To make sure that as much life as possible flows between the actors and between the actors and the audience. And that's a priority, and I follow that priority ruthlessly to the extent of everything else. I mean, that's the... Ruthlessly, I mean, I like to have a very good atmosphere in rehearsal, but that's my absolute #1 priority. And everything else takes second place to that.
How should an actor deal with emotion?
It's such a funny question. The important thing is that the actor remembers that a human being has never expressed emotion. You can't express emotion. And I'm now going to say what I say in my book. You can no more express emotion than you can shit through your ear. The tubes don't connect, that's all. You can squeeze and squeeze as hard as you like, it still won't come out. Emotion gets expressed through suppression. So when you watch somebody really and being really emotional, like somebody weeping because their child has been killed in a car accident on television, what you're watching is somebody trying to control their tears, never watching somebody trying to show their tears. As soon as an emotion is shown, it is false. You cannot ever show an emotion. It has never happened.
What is unforgivable on the stage?
Nothing is unforgivable, apart from despair. That's a very beautiful Catholic theory, that despair is the only sin without forgiveness. And the reason that it is the only sin, it is the secret sin against the Holy Spirit, because despair is not possible. And there is no such thing as pure despair. Even the person committing suicide hopes for death, so there is never total despair.
It's better to please or to upset the audience?
It's frivolous to try to do either. You just have to share something alive with them, and if they're pleased or upset, I would not ever try to control that.
What kind of plays do you prefer to perform? A carpet, stage?
Good plays.
An actor must not ever fall in the temptation of?
Many things. One is showing what he or she feels. To show a feeling is not good. But there are many things that are absolutely terrible. But it's important that the actor makes a choice between seeing things and showing things. That's an example of making priorities. We think sometimes in this modern world that we can choose everything. We can't. We have to choose one or the other. I can either love somebody or show them I love them. You see it or you show it, and I prefer that the actor sees rather than shows. And similarly, the actor must make a distinction between concentration and attention. People think they can concentrate on things and pay attention to them at the same time. They can't. Concentration destroys attention.
What is the mistake most often made by a director?
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure I make them all the time.
What is the truth in acting? Acting is pretending?
No, acting is not pretending. Everybody knows that acting is not pretending, but we don't have the words to explain the difference. If I tried to explain to you the difference between acting and pretending, I couldn't, because the words don't exist. But there is a difference, and it's a sacred difference, and it's very difficult to explain in words, but most people know it, although they can't put it into words. But also we live in a world that makes us mistrust that which is invisible. And the difference between acting and pretending is very interesting, because you can't have words for it, but this very materialistic world that we live in implies that that thing that I have no words for cannot therefore exist. But some of the most important things in the world are invisible and unsayable.
Why do we need the stories?
I don't really know. We have an archetypal need to witness, share with other people stories. I think one of the reasons, there are many reasons, but one of the reasons is because we feel lonely and we come into a real space with real people in real time, and we share together a story, which is very important. But I don't think story is the most important thing. I used to. There's the text, and underneath that is the story, but underneath the story is the experience of things. So what we really come to theatre, I don't think the story is nearly as important. I think that, in fact, story is slightly shallow, because underneath that there is a deeper foundation under the story, which is the living experience of what is happening.
Is the intuition the shortest path to solve a creative program?
These questions are so generalised. These are terrible questions. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I tell you I'm stupid. Don't believe anything I say. Anything I say is not necessarily true, but it may be useful. If it's useful, very good. If it's not, forget it.
What is behind the need of creating?
What?
Is behind the need of creating?
And again?
What is behind the need of creating? What is behind the need of talking to an audience?
Why do you need to talk to me? I can't possibly answer that question. I mean, these are such global questions. This is terrible, our modern world. Can I just speak to you straight to camera now? Our modern world's really terrible like this, because we're asked to make shallow and trivialise enormous things. I'm answering these questions as if I believe them. I don't believe them. I don't know what's behind the need to create. We just do need to create. We need to create. We need to communicate. We need to witness. And we need to be with each other. Otherwise we wouldn't reproduce, I suppose. We'd just die if we didn't need to be with each other to communicate.
Has any chance with you when you work?
Chance?
Yeah, chance.
Of course, it's all chance. We don't control anything. The first step in anything is to realise you're completely out of control, and to keep close to this very, very important principle. And one of the terrible mistakes we make all the time in our lives is to think that we are in control. There are a few small things that we can control, but some of the very big things we can't control, so it's all about chance. None of us earns the right to do good work. good work comes by grace. It doesn't happen through our control. I can work really hard, I can be really intelligent, I can do all sorts of things, and if grace doesn't smile, if grace doesn't visit it, chance if you like, then it's still no good.
And the last one, thank God, why theatre is a good job for you?
Oh, because I have a great time, because I get to meet people like you. I get to be interviewed by Spanish television in a theatre in Dublin. I love being with actors. I like to think I've shared something important with a lot of people. I was brought up to be very social, so this is a very social world, but not just in terms of having drinks after the show, which I have had too many of, but just the whole idea of sharing something with a group of people that matters. I mean, I love that. And that's very, very nice. I have a great life, and I'm very grateful for it. Bring it on more.